Be it Niagara Falls, Ayers Rock, or the Northern Lights, the world is full of incredible and mysterious places that tourists flock to in their droves. But there are some intriguing locales that are so tantalizingly strange that you simply won't be able to accept they're real at all. These are mysterious places you won't believe actually exist. Number 15. Wilhelmshöhe Palace and Park, Germany. Most people are well aware that fairy tale settings in movies are not real. They're clever camera work, painted backdrops, and a lot of editing. But did you know that places that look like they are from fairy tales actually exist? Take Wilhelmshöhe Park in Germany, for example. The whole palace and park setup looks like it's not real. It's that perfect. As if you could reach your arm out and punch through a green screen to reveal full animation. But it's as real as you or me, and is located along Germany's fairy tale route that was put on the map by the Brothers Grimm. Wilhelmshöhe Park is a UNESCO World Heritage Site that spans nearly 600 acres of neatly manicured grounds. It's home to waterfalls, greenhouses, green spaces, a monument, walking trails, and 2 castles. Both the Löwenberg Castle and Wilhelmshöhe Castle are located on the expansive grounds, ready to take you back in time and lure you into a fairy tale. The park has been an attraction for hundreds of thousands of visitors since the 1700s, and continues to be a significant drawcard today, especially those coming from the neighboring city of Frankfurt. So if you thought fairy tales couldn't exist, Wilhelmshöhe Park will prove that theory dead in the water. Before we go on, we have a cool challenge for y'all. It'll take about 5 seconds to complete. Let's make a deal. Just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you will get 10 years of amazing luck and fortune. Try it, it actually works. Now it's time for the odd topic. The reason why we've chosen this photo as our odd topic instead of a regular topic is that we're struggling to find a source for it, so we're keeping it separate from the others for now. If you know where this is, please do get in contact and let us know. What we do know is that we found this photo when we were researching mysterious and strange places on Earth. This photo kept coming up in all sorts of articles and videos regarding the topic of mysterious places on Earth, but none of them named where it is. What we can see from the photo is that it seems to be some kind of giant chasm in the middle of greenery stretching impossibly down into the ground. It looks more natural rather than man-made, but the trees all around seem well-groomed, suggesting somebody must know where this thing is. What do you think this giant chasm is, and why is it there? As always, comment down below with the hashtag OddTopic and let us know your opinion in relation to what we just showed on screen. Let's move on to the next one. Number 14. Travertin Pools of Turkey. You can find breathtaking attractions anywhere in the world, but if you want a truly unique experience, then a trip to Turkey could be in the cards. In the small town of Pamukkale, which means Cotton Castle in Turkish, you will find over a dozen water terraces which are noted as being some of the most spectacular in the world. White Travertine limestone hosts the hot spring waters, which boast comfortable temperatures of between 95 to 212 degrees. While visitors used to be able to bathe in the Travertin Pools of Turkey, that's now no longer a possibility. Instead, you can visit, take photos, then retreat to the newly formed tourist township with pools, cafes, and accommodation to take your fancy. The Travertin Pools of Turkey are a natural phenomenon with thermal waters against a mountainous backdrop. They are accessible from the road from Denizli and offer uninterrupted views of the land below. Number 13. Fly Geyser, Nevada, USA. Who would have thought that a beautiful attraction could be made by accident? That was the reality on a private ranch in Nevada. Near State Route 34 is the Fly Geyser, which came to exist after irrigation opportunities were explored near the Black Rock Desert in Nevada. A well was drilled which found so much water that it shot up from the dark depths of the earth and meters into the air. However, at around 200 degrees, it was far too hot for crop irrigation and the well was abandoned. Over the next few decades, the water continued to spew out from below the Earth's surface, creating a cone of calcium carbonate in its wake. In the early 1960s, a geothermal energy company saw the opportunity for energy production. They drilled a second well near the first that produced water around the same temperature. However, it wasn't hot enough for their needs, so they capped the well. They didn't do a great job though, and water continued to flow from as many gaps as it could find. With the drilling of these two wells, a beautiful conical formation has appeared. It's a mineral-rich attraction that stands 12 feet high and wide and is covered in multicolored algae. It's a sight to behold. Because it was on private land, eager visitors had to pay a fee and receive permission to see it. However, the Burning Man Project purchased the ranch in 2016 and renamed it from Fly Ranch to Fly Geyser. They now offer organized tours to view it. Number 12. Rainbow Mountain, Peru. It's not uncommon for children's artwork to feature rainbows and bright colors, but you never think that mountains could form those same colors. Your kids' fridge-worthy works of art may be closer to reality than you think, especially if you venture into Peru. Rainbow Mountain, or Montana de Siete Colores, the Mountain of Seven Colors, is in Peru's Cusco region in the Andes. While it's a bit of a challenge to get to it with a 3-hour drive and a 6-mile hike, it'll be well worth it when you finally arrive. Unlike other mountains that feature dull, nature-like colors, this mountain is all about vibrancy. It features stunning shades of yellows, reds, purples, and greens, and looks like kids have been let loose with a bucket of chalk. According to researchers, the mountain gets its color from water mixing with minerals. The rust creates red, yellow comes from iron sulfide, green comes from chlorite, and purple is either from oxidized limonite or geothite. The mountain is featured on National Geographic's list of the top 100 places to visit and continues to attract thousands of people yearly. It's about half the altitude of Mount Everest and features around 14 different colors. While you might need to be a reasonably experienced hiker to see it in its full beauty, it'll be worth every sweaty step you take. Number 11. Puerto Mosquito, Puerto Rico. The Puerto Mosquito bioluminescent bay on the island of Vieques in Puerto Rico is so extraordinary that you'll hardly believe it exists. In fact, it's also so rare that there are only 5 bays like it in the world, and 3 are in Puerto Rico. Puerto Mosquito is at the top of the list of the best bioluminescent bays to visit. You might think that this bay is like any other, pretty water with a tropical backdrop, but wait until you see it at night. It glows. The blue glow over the bay is caused by microorganisms called dinoflagellates. They shine when anything touches or disturbs them, which is most often fish. Given how fragile this ecosystem is, there's only one bay like it where swimming is allowed, and it doesn't shine nearly as brightly as those that don't allow swimming. Given its dimness, there may even come a time where it no longer glows at all. If you want to experience Puerto Mosquito in all its beauty, then the best time to visit is the first 2 days after a full moon. It's also at its best when the night sky is at its darkest. You should probably bring your camera too, because no one's gonna believe that this attraction exists without you showing them proof. Number 10. Mendenhall Ice Caves, Alaska, USA. Some of the world's best kept secrets are beautiful natural attractions that are hard to access. The Mendenhall Ice Caves in Alaska, USA are no exception. The 13-mile frozen formation of caves is 12 miles from Juneau and forms part of the Tongass National Forest. While views of the glacier are easy enough to come by from visitors making their way to Alaska, they are not so easy to get up close and personal. To access the Mendenhall Ice Caves, you must take a kayak journey followed by a hiking trip, but but once you get there, it'll be entirely worth it. The ice caves boast a stunning and vibrant blue shade that you can't compare to any other natural attraction you've seen. Glacial rain rushes into streams surrounding the caves, and the land surrounding it is home to spawning salmon, bears, beavers, and mountain goats. The isolated location of the caves, not to mention the serene environment in which to explore, means you need to allow at least 6 hours to appreciate this attraction fully. As the caves are slippery, you'll also need the best gear and an experienced guide. So while this is a mysterious place you won't believe actually exists, it's one that very few people will ever get to experience in person as well. Number 9. Red Beach, Panjin, China. Any beach of any color is an attraction for most people. After all, it's where you go on a beautiful summer's day for fun in the sun. However, Red Beach in Panjin, China is no ordinary beach. In fact, its name is quite deceiving because it's not a beach at all. Yeah, but it is red. Red Beach is 18 miles southwest of Panjin City in Dawa County in the northeast province of Liaoning. Even though it's called Red Beach, it's actually a reed-covered wetland in the Liaohe River Delta, one of the largest areas of its kind. The expansive wetland is a state-protected natural reserve, which has a viewing area for visitors and a 6,500-foot wooden jetty. The goal of the Chinese government is to offer non-invasive views of the wetlands without damaging the flora and fauna that call it home. The weed that covers the landscape is known as seepweed, and it's common in coastal areas. In early spring, it's a beautiful green shade before turning jade in summer. During its peak viewing season in summer to fall, around August to October, it bursts to life in a myriad of different crimson hues. Red Beach is a sight to behold, but it's important not to get too close. This attraction is accessible via most modes of transport, but it's a valuable layover spot for around 250 species of bird that migrate from Asia to Australia. Protected and endangered species are among them, such as the Saunders gull and red crane. Around 400 wildlife species in total call Red Beach home, all attracted by the fish and aquatic flora in the area. If you get a chance to view Red Beach in person, you will be blown away by its vibrancy. But as you were told as a child, look but don't touch. Number 8. Lake Hillier, Australia. Lake Hillier in Australia is a body of water that looks so delicious you wish you could drink it. Instead of clear, blue, or shades of green, this lake is pink, just like a strawberry milkshake. The lake, which is better viewed from the air as it's a protected natural reserve, is in the south of Western Australia in Recherche Archipelago near the coast of Middle Island. The only way to visit is with permission, which is hard to get. The reason for the coloring is not 100% known, but the microorganisms that live in it are thought to be the cause. Dunaliella salina is a microorganism that loves salt and generates energy by using the light spectrum. They also create beta-carotene, such as that in carrots, which may offer that delicious-looking bubblegum color. Halophilic bacteria in the lake's salt crust produce the same carotenoid pigment, which can either be the primary cause of the coloring or just one of them. Whatever the reason, it's a beautiful part of Australia that the government is doing all they can to protect for its future. Number 7. The Devil's Bridge, Rakosbrücke, Germany. Rakosbrücke is a sight to behold. Also known as the Devil's Bridge, Rakosbrücke dates back to 1860 and is man-made with rocky spires, pointed rocks, and much thought into how it would look once it was built. Looking at it today, you will be amazed at how the arch reflects against the glassy water to form a perfect circle. It's almost as if man wasn't involved in its creation at all, right? Which is precisely how it got its name. Rakosbrücke, among many other bridges referred to as the Devil's Bridge, is thought to be so beautifully crafted that surely only the devil himself could have done it. Stories have been told throughout generations in Europe about how people would sell their souls to help build a bridge, or how the first person to cross the bridge would lose their life to pay for the devil's helping hand. While the stories are, of course, unlikely to be accurate, you can't deny Rakosbrücke's beauty. To preserve this beautiful structure, crossing the bridge is prohibited. However, you are more than welcome to view it from afar on your next visit to Kramlauer Park in Germany. Number 6. The Sentinels of the Arctic, Finland. Imagine a field full of towering soft-serve cones, then look at a picture of the Sentinels of the Arctic in Finland. There isn't all too much of a difference. Once the blanket of winter falls on the Finnish region of Lapland, previously green trees in an equally as green field become one shade of white, and it's pretty astounding. You might not think it's all that intriguing to see snow on trees, but Lapland is something just that little bit different. Both ice and snow cling to the branches of the trees to form giant cloud-like shapes that act as guardians of the land. Such is the beauty of this setting that photos taken by Italian photographer Niccolo Bonfaniti in -40-degree temperatures were chosen as image of the day on the NASA APOD website. Believe it or not, while Lapland looks devoid of life and barren in winter, it is anything but. Fish move around as usual below a layer of ice, while even mammals have adapted to survive. Then, within a few months, greenery begins to sprout through once more, waving goodbye to the ice cream man and his giant soft-serve trees. Number 5. Abraham Lake, Canada. Abraham Lake in Canada is kind of a bittersweet attraction. It is undeniably beautiful, which is why thousands of people make the trip to see it. But the reason it is such an attraction has to do with dangerous, explosive gases which can be harmful to both people and the environment. Abraham Lake was the result of the Bighorn Dam's construction in 1972. It became the largest man-made lake, even if it looks like any other glacial lake in the area. However, because it used to be home to plant life before becoming a lake, organic matter from plants and animals causes methane gas to float to its surface. When winter strikes, those bubbles of gas freeze to create astounding looking frozen bubbles on the lake's surface. They're definitely photo-worthy, but what do they mean? The bubbles freeze and stack on top of each other, but when the lake unfreezes in the spring, the methane is released into the air. Methane, which is a greenhouse gas, is around 25 times more potent than carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Its effect on the environment is bad enough, but methane is also highly flammable. If you light a match on the lake's surface, a surprising burst of flames can occur. There's no denying Abraham Lake in the winter is worthwhile to see, but the bigger picture of what it can mean is bittersweet at best. Number 4. Blood Falls, Antarctica. It's the stuff of nightmares. A seemingly innocent waterfall, but instead of water, blood flows from it. Well, not quite, but it sure looks like it. Antarctic scientist Griffith Taylor discovered the Blood Falls in Antarctica in 1911. To come across a 5-story glacier leaking blood must have been pretty scary. But Griffith, with a natural head for science, was keen to find out more about it, not run away in horror as others might. He discovered that the red coloring comes from a saltwater lake trapped around 1,300 feet under the glacier that is thought to be millions of years old. In that water are 17 different microbes, which is as astounding as the blood red water. Scientists, up until that point, had no idea that anything could survive in such inhospitable conditions. However, they now have a few theories as to why, and hope their existence could shed some light on whether or not other forms of life on other planets could also survive somewhere that was thought to be inhospitable for everyone and everything as well. Could it be time to move to Mars? Number 3. Crystal Caves, Naka Mine, Mexico. When you think of what's buried nearly 1,000 feet below a mountain, you usually think of dirt and, maybe some rock. After all, there's surely not a lot more than that, right? But if you're talking about the Sierra de Naka mountain in Chihuahua, Mexico, you can expect dozens of feet of crystals instead. The giant crystal cave below the mountain was first discovered in 2000, and it was full of selenite crystals. But these weren't just small crystals, they were tens of feet long and growing in temperatures above 136 degrees. They weren't there overnight either. It's thought that through a series of natural events, they've been growing for upwards of 500 to 900,000 years. However, you can't just go in and, have a look at these crystals or nab a sample for yourself. Because of the near 100% humidity, entering the cave is hazardous for your health. Stay there too long and fluid can condense inside your lungs. Since their discovery, the scientific community has been draining water from the caves, but the structural integrity of the crystals may be at risk. obelisk. This attraction may not be open to the public, but it's astounding to think that a real-life cave of crystals actually exists. Number 2. The Spotted Lake, British Columbia, Canada. You've probably learned by now that lakes are not always clear, blue, or green. They can be blood red, pink, purple, or any color that microorganisms can cause them to be. But the lake northwest of Osoyoos in British Columbia, Okanagan Valley, is simply something altogether different. It's spotty. In most parts of the year, the lake looks like any other, but when summer sees the evaporation of the water within it, that is when the spots form. The lake is home to hundreds of yellow, blue, and green spots with minerals such as magnesium sulfate, sodium, and calcium that have come from surrounding hills. Indigenous people from the Okanagan Nation have long thought the Spotted Lake is a sacred place, with each circle representative of different healing properties. Then, during World War I, tons of salt were mined from the lake each day to manufacture ammunition, which means the lake is now not as vibrant or beautiful as it once was. Today, it's classified as a culturally and ecologically sensitive area, which means the lake is fenced off to the public. You can get a pretty decent look at it from the highway, though. Number 1. Salar de Uyuni Salt Flats, Bolivia. The Salar de Uyuni Salt Flats, or the world's largest mirror as they are also known, are a pretty popular attraction in Bolivia. They allow photographers to flex their creative muscles, and they are also a pretty outstanding natural attraction. The Salt Flats span for 4,000 square miles and are home to dormant volcanoes, wildlife like flamingos, and even islands covered in cacti. Believe it or not, the Salt Flats didn't always exist as they do today. Mysteriously, they were entirely underwater and formed part of a giant prehistoric lake around 42,000 years ago. When it dried up, it split into smaller lakes, of which Salar de Uyuni was one. It contains sodium, potassium, magnesium, borax, and around 70% of the world's lithium reserves. You can find this awe-inspiring attraction nearly 12,000 feet above sea level near the peak of the Andes in Potosi, southwest Bolivia. Wow, talk about insane! These mysterious places around the world are astounding and will surely appear on your list of places to explore on your next global adventure. Can you think of any others that deserve to be on the list? Also, check out our other cool stuff showing up on screen right now. See you next time!